evil science and magic buddies.
Hello and welcome to the Kryptonaut Podcast presents Evil Science and Magic Buddies, the show within the show, the conspiracy of the conspiracy, the Crypto Roundtable Listener Stories, Part 21. I am Mark Storrs, and with me as always is...
Uncle Rob.
Thank you, Rob, and...
I am Chris.
I'm moving my arms in a very theatrical way, because...
You are?
Yes, you know why?
No.
The goblin milk is filling the streets. The pumpkins are in your shoes. The bones are rolling around in your head. The ghosts are in your car.
Fair enough.
Spooky season.
Yeah, I kind of guessed.
You guys are looking at me like I have a problem.
Well, the fucking goblin milk.
You got to work on the.
What, the pumpkins in your shoes?
Yeah.
What's the matter
what
with
else did you say that made no sense?
Ghosts in your car?
Well, the
Ghosts
haunted
in your-
car is almost okay. I mean, there's a little Christine in there. I mean, all right, that was the less out there. Bones in your head, okay, fine if you have a caved-in skull.
Was it ghosts in your head or bones? What
No,
did
it was
I do?
better in your head,
Oh, it should have
I
been
think.
demons in your head.
Oh,
Cool.
see, there you go.
Yeah, that would have helped.
Yeah, damn it.
Because that was like a Limp Bizkit Halloween song, what you said.
That was an edgy new metal.
Go sit in the car. Wait, no, Cypress Hill.
You're not going to go far. Oh, yeah, that was.
Yeah,
Cypress
you're not going to
Hill.
go far, right?
But it's spooky season, man. And yes, we are back. We have not done Evil Science and Magic Buddies in quite some time, and we have not touched the listener stories also in quite a while. So
It's
we're
important. I
pretty
think it was
excited.
important for me personally, as I don't want to write my fucking phone number down.
Okay.
I don't want to print my
Yeah.
name.
Yeah, no, that's the deal. That's why.
I don't want to fucking write for a long time. A, and B, I'm super excited to get back into these because we've had a fucking build-up of phenomenal listener stories, and I've read a bunch of them, and I keep going, oh yeah, this isn't the used pile, and the used pile keeps getting bigger and bigger, but we don't go to it because I'm always writing some shit. So this is a perfect confluence of Uncle Rob is done writing. He left his skills on Stardust. But more importantly, we're going to dig into never before heard, at least in the public sphere, genuine paranormal encounters written in by you guys. So
Yeah.
it's a chance to explore brand new stories, at least to us, and probably most of the people out there.
Yeah, and again, these are all listeners submitted, so if you do want to submit any stories, you can go to kryptonautpodcast.com. There's a contact form you can fill out, or if you want to skip all that bullshit, just email kryptonautpodcast@gmail.com. Stick it in there. Tell us it's a listener stories. Let us know if you want like a pseudonym or a special name, or if you just want to go by your regular name, just to let us so that we don't actually out you, like accidentally out you or, put your name out there.
In lieu of knowing better, we'll use a first name.
Yeah, because some of these I think we're not going to be using last names here.
We wouldn't do, unless someone is like, oh, please give my full name. I want to be out there. It's important to me to be associated with it. If you ask, we'll do it. But otherwise, we're not about, like Mark said, outing anybody.
If you want to put your Instagram or any of your shit on there, it's fine. We'll add it on there too. May as well. Put all your socials. Fuck it. Go meet the haunted person.
Sure.
Yeah, there it is.
Do it.
So
but it's on you. It's not on us.
Yeah. No. So this group specifically is dealing around a certain theme that I think we will see what happens. The theme will become more evident as we get to the end of this, but this is some follow-up material. Now, this week and next week are both going to be follow-ups. This one specifically, though, is going to touch on an extremely creepy experience that we talked about on a previous listener story, but I don't want to give anything away.
Okay.
So we'll get there.
I love it. And Mark gets full credit for picking out these themes, and you've done a bang-up job, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I went through the emails. I created PDFs. I have a folder structure. I have the old stories. I have the new stories. I have the used. I have the maybe pile. I have the definite pile. I have the all pile. Did a lot of organization for PDFs and didn't need to really do it, but it's okay.
No, but it'll help in the long run.
It will, but it's a little over-organized because now I even have flags in my email box with different colors.
Oh,
Yeah.
fancy.
All
Little,
right.
little bit of the OCD kicked in. A little of the anxiety was getting to me a little bit.
I've inherited some of your library whenever you go through like the occasional purge, and I get the multicolored bookmarks on both the vertical side and the horizontal side of the book. And it took me a while to figure out, like, why are some of these horizontal? Oh, because this has to do with illustrations as opposed to text.
Yes.
And I finally figured out your shit.
See, yes.
Yeah.
See, you got my,
I love it. And I won't take them out, just as homage to you.
Oh, thank you, buddy.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Let's get creepy, boys. Here we go. Our first story here is coming to us from a listener named Randall.
Oh, Randall. And cool last name, which I won't be saying.
There you go.
There you go.
There it is.
October 24th, 2022. So I've been a listener for a while now, and I'm up to episode 231. The Day of the Puppet People on Spotify, and it hit pretty close to home. Had a similar incident around the same time frame. Was born in 1984 and must have been first or second grade at the latest. Had just gotten home from school, so had to have been around 3-ish. I lived at an apartment complex in Wellston, Ohio, that had a community center with big windows that faced a small playground. I was walking by the community center and just happened to glance at the windows and saw 2 creatures, I guess to say that they looked extremely close to the ones mentioned in the story. So I know I must have read that awkwardly, but he's saying basically looked very close to the puppet, Day of the Puppet People, like monstrous Muppets.
Yes.
The ones I saw looked like a bunch of different articles of clothes formed to make small human shapes. All right, so I just got to say this. I'm just going to digress for a quick second. I used to be an avid walker, like just walked everywhere, miles and miles every day for shits and giggles. It helped loosen up the head, helped me write, did all sorts of things.
For you.
I liked glancing in windows. Occasionally, very rarely, twice, I saw boobies. Once were even boobies I was glad to see.
Okay.
Once. But I wasn't doing it to be a voyeur, nor did my
Just looking
gaze
in a
linger.
window, right?
I just glance up and like, oh, boob, oh, somebody watching TV, oh, somebody dancing, oh, no big deal. But there was always that little bit of dread, especially in the dead of night, walking around in the autumn, the dead leaves crunching underfoot.
Yeah.
Where you're like, I'm going to look and I'm going to see something I'm going to wish for the rest of my life I never saw.
Yeah.
And on nights like that, I would make it a point to just either look down at the crunch or look straight ahead at whatever I was doing. So I'm like, I don't want to catch that thing. Because if I had that gut instinct that like when I glance at a window, it's going to be a fucking, even though a lot of times I would, it's like when you tell yourself don't think of the color purple and that's the first fucking thing you think of.
Right.
I would look anyway and usually it'd just be a fucking curtain, no big deal.
Yeah.
You're hyping yourself up for no reason, but I was always sure there'd be the one time I would see a pile of fucking clothes that looked like a dude with another pile of clothes that looked like another fucking dude and they'd be animate and I'd be like, well, fuck. Now I got to process this shit.
One of your things?
Not really, no.
Oh, I was going to say.
No, I would see more like
it's fucking bizarre.
Like pale, like bloodshot-eyed things that weren't quite human. Spider babies, with the arms and legs ripped off, and like spider legs coming out of the torso.
Or like
scuttling.
some weird like demon ripping out of like a lady's body,
It's just
and you're like, now
shit.
I'm a part of the story.
Or I guess a typical serial killing or something, and you'd be like, now
Yeah.
I got to run. Now I have to run.
Of course.
That's the thing is, if you look, you're kind of making yourself involved in it because something awful happens, and you got to like make the phone call. It's like,
Sure.
I mean, you don't have to.
I mean, I would report a murder, I guess, even though I've seen enough giallo to know better.
That's
the
thing.
first way you get involved.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can't let a murderer go by without acknowledging it.
But no, I mean, I think you have to do your due diligence as a citizen and make it a citizen's arrest.
Unless they point at you through the window.
You know what's going to happen
with like a
though.
straight razor gleaming in the fucking, the light, and you're like, hey, I didn't see shit, dude.
Yeah.
I'm walking.
Dude, we're good. We're good, bro.
Dude, I didn't even know what's going on here. Clearly they deserved it, whatever they did. So my point is, it's always dangerous looking into windows, but I'm going to get back to this. He's in first or second grade walking past a community center with large windows, and then he sees puppety looking things made out of clothes, but like, I guess so, like sloppy mess of dirty clothes that are essentially anthropomorphic.
Yeah, that have like human shapes to them.
Okay. They were pressed flat against the window, facing out, and seemed to be staring at me. Unlike the guy, I didn't stay long, maybe 30 seconds to a couple of minutes, and then I ran home. They never moved, and I never saw them again. Just thought you'd like to know. Thanks for making a great podcast. Thank you for listening to a great podcast.
We appreciate
I said full
it.
of hubris.
Nice.
Secondly, all right, my breakdown aside, I'm slightly less impressed by the fact that they didn't move.
Well,
at what point are you just thinking maybe somebody had their slop-ass laundry leaning against a window?
That's the first thing I was thinking
that
of
was
too,
vaguely
but,
humanoid.
But he can tell.
It's kind of weird, though.
He can tell
why would you
that
put your laundry there?
There was a bunch of different articles of clothes formed into make a small human shapes that were pressed flat against the window. So they were like
arms out. Are you thinking like the full on?
I'm thinking in my mind, these things are like trying to get out of the window.
Except not moving.
That's true. They weren't moving, so they were just pressed there.
If they're slamming against the window, if like piles of clothes are hitting against the glass in an effort to break out, either to clearly kill the kid or to escape an even more terrible thing than living clothes, which I can't imagine what that is right now, then that's utterly horrifying. I think it's cool. I think it's interesting. I'm not going to get caught up in the whimsy of a child because I'm a believer of witnesses. But on the other hand, it is a 6 or 7 year old.
Right.
It is an immobile shape made out of a very common item.
Yep.
pressed up against the window. I wish, like, I would like to hear a better description. Like if parts of it were like extended arms and it's like, how the fuck did that happen unless somebody literally used wire coat hangers and made a model of people and then draped clothes off it to freak people out?
That's kind of what I was trying to think of is like, okay, like even if this was just clothes piled up, they're done in a way that they create two human shapes that are just pressed against the window. I mean, it's not like if there's like a mop or something and somebody made some weird scarecrow out of fucking clothes.
Yeah. It's
and
true.
he references the day of the puppet people.
And you know what they say? 1 is pareidolia, 2 is paranormal.
Yeah, dude.
And by they, I mean me. And by me, I mean now.
Nice.
Right now, I just said it.
I think with the day with the day of the puppet people, didn't we talk about like that this was something that was like showing itself to kids almost like in a predatory fashion?
Oh, absolutely. There was the one kid that was like pretending to be sick home from school and then saw them coming out of like the
closet and he ran around. Yeah.
And one was like a football headed thing and one had like an oblong head. It was sort of like an Ernie and Bert, but not quite.
Yep.
And it was like they were like threatening him or whatever when he snuck around the couch to find him.
Am I imagining that?
What's that?
They try to bite him or something?
I think something like that.
Was there some sort of bite or
I think you might be right.
Possibly. They were like, didn't they like grunt at him or something?
There was definitely
there's
aggression.
There's some event that happened there. With that
and there was another one where this kid was sleeping in his mom's room or maybe on the floor of his mom's room, and then there was like a cracked window at the end of the hall, and he went down to check it out, and then there was another fucking puppet trying to climb in.
Yes.
In my mind, holding a knife, but that could be some trilogy of terror.
He was coming up the window
flashback.
or whatever. Yeah,
and he starts slamming the window on it again. Maybe it didn't happen like that at all, but in my mind, it did. It's this like violent episode.
I mean, if these are some weird, fucking horrible, awful creatures that are trying to like attack kids, I mean, it would make sense that would show themselves to kids, for sure. But yeah,
I mean, this could be just a crafty person that actually just made a human shape just out of some cloth material,
or it could be
stitched together like crafty.
The other option's child killer.
I mean, it's
trying to. Are you trying to bait children with your clothes fucking
No,
models?
I'm talking about these things are trying to fucking kill kids and eat them and shit.
Oh, because
they're fucking terrible monsters.
By being just flat against the window? Like what's...
Dude, that's how it starts, man. They're trying to escape, or they're trying to get the kid to tempt him to come close to check it out. Like,
no way to
what
do
are these
that,
weird fucking things in the window?
See, I would be upset if I saw that.
Yeah, no kid goes toward that, right? Like,
or maybe not. maybe that was reaching.
I mean, in all fairness, Randall claims he stood at least 30 seconds, perhaps a minute or so, staring at it. So he doesn't seem to be either afraid or really hyper intrigued. Not intrigued enough to go closer. Now, had he walked closer and it started slowly pounding on the glass,
right?
Then I'd be like, oh my God, this is nightmare fuel. Fucking burn the house down. Burn the whole condominium down.
It's also weird that it was in a community center.
Yeah.
So it's not like, I mean, I don't know if there's like a laundry type of situation there or if it's just like...
Well, that would make actually more sense to have little kid-like shapes that somebody crafted to put in the windows.
I'm trying to think here.
Right?
So, okay, there's a community center.
84 was an artsy-fartsy time, I guess.
Yeah, that says a community
things.
Center in 84 with these weird fucking humanoid shapes.
I guess I don't know how to see it. To me, I picture, he said they're small, so I picture like they're full body. There's 2 full body ones in there, not just like a torso or something, right?
That's fair.
Sense?
No, it's
fair.
I
guess
that's how I'm seeing that, because he's saying they're like too small, so like they're like this big,
right? And they're just like standing there,
and they're just like flat up
what
against...
I would like to know is...
Oh, that almost seems like, now that you describe it as that, it's even fucking creepier. Because I was thinking the entire time like it was like waist up. But the way that Chris describes it, where it's 2 little people on like the window, like you can see legs and everything.
Right. That's why I feel like they were
pressed
it's
flat.
a crafty thing to do, because people put that stuff in windows and stuff.
Man, or they're little fucking demons.
What?
Yeah, dude.
As I was saying...
2-dimensional demons.
2-dimensional
and
demons.
you can't limit a demon's dimensions and
That's
or
what I'm saying.
exacerbate them.
Right.
I mean, if they want to be
to 2 denim,
two denim dimensional
demons.
What were they doing or not doing? What was it that gave Randall the impression that made him say, "And they seem to be staring at me"? They weren't just facing outward. If they were just 2 figurines draped in clothes, facing outward, art installation like Chris is suggesting, any number of things.
That makes me think he saw eyes.
Or at least the equivalent thereof, like dark little holes that have been molded into it. So these little abysmal fucking caverns are peering out at him in a way that makes him feel uncomfortable, I'd imagine.
Oh, weird. I didn't think. Yeah, no, that actually the staring at me thing that just sent chills up my spine.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to really, to go back and be like, oh, when you were 10, this is what my train of thought was.
Right.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
recollection
Or
at that
whatever.
age is fucking goddamn
Well, 6
near
or 7,
impossible.
in all fairness.
Yeah.
It's still,
So
it's,
even
it's
younger.
a hard one to fucking. Well, I mean, he survived. He's a hero.
So yeah,
He made it.
that alone.
He survived the puppet people.
Puppet people are fucked up.
Yeah, you can't, dude. You can never take them off the table.
They're fundamentally wrong, and whether or not they are somehow, via voodoo or some other occult mechanism, animated fabric or other nefarious things, assuming the appearance of what a child would consider to be like an innocent plaything.
right.
Either way, it's terrible.
Yeah, nobody
Like there's
wants
no
that.
winning
Yeah, no.
in that scenario. Either option, it's fucking horrible.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's like, Teddy Ruxpin Gen X, where it's just like fucking, yeah, look, now I can dance and do all the things.
It's like the worst Chucky ever.
Yeah, Megan meets fucking Ruxpin.
I never saw Meg. Was any good?
No, I didn't either. Jesus
It looks
Christ.
kind of neat.
It's
I don't know.
fine.
It
It's
looks
fine.
all right.
It's kind of fun. I mean,
Yeah.
killer robot girl.
Sure.
She got some cool
It's
dance
all right.
and she has like swords and shit. Movies aside, boys, moving on to more creeptacular. Was that a word? Tales.
It is now.
Actually, this one's a little bit. This story here is interesting. We've been sitting on this email for a while as well. This comes from a woman here named Michaela. Now, this is tied into the Count Von Count encounter because Michaela is actually Nicole H's daughter.
Yes.
if
Who
you're-
will remember from.
Yes, from the Count Von Count episodes. If you're not familiar with those, you can go back. I'm going to have them linked in the episode description. I'm sorry, the description of this episode. That was Evil Science and Magic Buddies Listener Stories Part 10, which is episode 152. And then we have a follow-up from Nicole, which is Evil Science and Magic Buddies Listener Stories Part 17, which is episode 203. So this saga with Count Von Count had continued. We received this email from Nicole. I'm sorry, from Michaela, just telling her about her mother had some health issues and was just thanking us for putting her story out there and believing her and going over everything. Which to this day, her Nicole's Count Von Count encounter is fucking scares the absolute living shit out
Oh,
of me.
it's so icky. Those
It's
teeth alone
fucking-
are like
It's
etched forever in my
great
memory.
story. Terrifying for her, and I'm sorry, but it's a great
Yes.
story. I
Yeah,
mean, it's
no,
just-
for us it was like, holy shit, this is unfucking believable. I couldn't imagine being Nicole and like living through it. But her daughter, as I mentioned, Michaela, is coming to us now here with her own tale of something that happened to her as well.
When I was about 7, maybe 8 years old, we'd moved into a new home, which was a factor I hadn't considered up until now. One of the first nights there, I remember going to bed. One thing about me is that when I was very little, I was an absolute scaredy cat. I'd cry at the smallest thing, no matter how terrifying it was. Spooky mask at Party City or a mildly creepy Scooby-Doo monster. I get it. I was a very freaked out kid, too. Like when I was very young, even though I got to see the most apocalyptic horror films from like the age of like 6 or 7 with my mom, I mean, I was very easily frightened, but I like channeled it into a place where it was like a love-hate thing until it became a pure love thing. But I
Yeah.
can identify with being very easily scared because in my mind, like my sister, if there was a scary movie, she'd run out of the room and she'd be safe because she was no longer looking at it. If I ran out of the room where there was more darkness and isolation, I was surely setting myself up for victimhood.
Yeah.
So I knew I
Yeah.
either had
Oh.
to stay here where this thing was abjectly horrifying me or I left to my own inevitable doom.
Oh, where it would get you.
Every time.
Yeah. Oh.
We had a bedroom at the top of our stairs in the house we grew up in that had no door. So it was a big, black, abysmal fucking space right on the left side
Yeah,
of the top of
no,
the stairs.
it's the worst.
And then we had to turn right and then go down another hallway. So it was like stairs went up and then the hallway went perpendicular, like back directly the other way.
Mm-hmm.
But you had to go past that. And what's even worse is there was an attic door that was like a little square for a little tiny attic that was directly in front of you. So if the
Oh,
fucking
no.
thing in the dark room didn't get you, something would pop out of the attic. If you made it past both of them, it was still Fucksville because I had a closet in my bedroom that had no fucking door.
All the monsters were living in your upstairs.
And there was a secret, not even secret, just a little passageway so that the door went to the hallway. So they could sneak through into the closet with no door from a door that went into the hallway. It was a nightmare. Plus, I had a fucking ceiling fucking hole to the attic.
A ceiling hole to the attic.
Oh,
Yeah,
one of
like the
those.
super upper attic that we never even went into.
Oh, like a crawl space type
Yeah,
thing?
something like
Oh,
that.
That was
I
in
never
your
even saw it.
room?
That was in the
Oh, that's where the
closet without a
murder-
door to my room.
where the murderer lives.
So what I'm saying is, I understand where you're coming from, Michaela.
Yeah, no, I get what Michaela's saying. Fucking A.
So it doesn't take much.
No, it's creepy.
And I love Scooby-Doo. Due to this, I often slept, and still do sleep, with my head firmly under my covers and my legs fully encapsulated by my blankets.
That's protocols. That's what we do.
That's what you do.
Dude, we've talked about this before. When you're underneath the blankets like that, the demons can't get you.
They can't get you.
No, as long as your feet are tucked in. As soon as you put your foot out, you're dead meat.
It's like the Pope is on one side of your bed and the Dalai Lama's on the other, and all of the faiths of the world are protecting you as long as you're tucked in.
Exactly. Tuck it in.
I had this deep-seated fear that if I didn't, something was going to grab my legs. You are not alone.
There you go.
The night in particular this occurred, I was lying in my bed trying to sleep, and I was incredibly worried about something, though it really escapes my mind. I remember hearing something shuffle beside my bed. Yuck. It was light. And at that time, I had a very large Care Bear collection that was located in the corner of my room in one of those hanging nets for stuffed animals. So I was concerned that one of my little friends had slipped out. I mean, just slipped out like fell, or slipped out like
like coming to get you, like fucking killer Care Bear.
At this point, I don't know.
Yeah.
I rolled over, popped open my eyes, and saw, honest to God, Yoda. You never expect a fucking Yoda.
Dude, you do not expect him to just be there.
Surprise Yoda.
Yeah, well, he gets a surprise, all right.
I wasn't sure what to make of it, and it never really spoke to me. It just stared at me with this wide-eyed look like I'd been caught sneaking around. It had that fuzzy look to it, like the really light white fuzz Yoda has for hair. And the skin wasn't a soft fluff. It looked almost like what I assume is the silicone they used for the puppet. I think the odd thing was that night I had watched Star Wars with my mom, but it was Phantom Menace. I believe because I remember about the implications of these I skipped a line. That's my bad. I believe, and this makes much more sense, because I remember regretting my choice for Jar Jar.
Yep. Yeah, the Phantom Menace, you're like, Misa Jar Jar Binks, God damn it. We all lived through it.
We all did.
There. It's okay.
I know. Some people are young enough so they don't hate Jar Jar, and I feel worse for them.
I actually know a lot of kids and some guys I work with, including my son too, that like love the prequels and all. I don't hate them.
I know a lot of people who really love them.
I like the Clone Wars, and I like the Revenge of the Sith. The Phantom Menace I could go.
You're wrong, and the kids I'll forgive. They don't know better.
Yeah, they're kids.
You,
I mean, what are you gonna do?
Fucking Christ!
I like clones. Leave me alone.
Not even the clones.
All right,
say
she was
that.
watching the Phantom Menace. I believe Yoda has a very small part, like a very cameo.
As Michaela indicates, notably a movie where Yoda just doesn't show up, to the best of my recollection. Very small role, I think.
I'm pretty sure he's there like a little scene.
I've thought about the implications of these puppet people or imposter creatures taking on a shroud or whatever might be the most comfortable for whoever has seen them. After a moment of staring, I started to cry, and I remember starting to scream, and the thing just screamed back at me. Oh,
dude, that's the fucking
scream at Yoda. It screams back.
Yoda's just some horrible fucking noise. Unless it's a Yoda voice, he's like,
that's still terrible.
Yeah,
it's still
fucking awful, dude. When you catch Yoda in your room and you scream and he screams back at you. Oh God, it's fucking terrible.
So what's terrible about this? What really throws me off is this comes back to this thing we've talked about I don't know how many times, and that is where aliens / demons / whatever the fuck is in your room look at you like you're not supposed to fucking see me.
Right.
And you look back at them like, I'm fucking seeing you. And they're like, fuck you, you are. You can't see me. Almost as if they have to answer to a higher order for having been busted. Like this means they're getting reamed out, pay grade loss, getting fired.
Or if it's
or hurt somehow.
Or if it's just they don't want to be seen and they're like, oh, fuck, they saw me.
Yeah,
shit.
But it always seems like much worse than that. Like not just like, shit, that wasn't supposed to happen. And more like oh, fuck, this happened.
Nah,
there's going to be fucking consequences.
You know why they saw behind the veil.
Maybe. Yeah. But what happens to them because of it? Because I'm talking about Yoda specifically screaming here. Maybe this entity that looked like Yoda was in as much fear as the child, because with actual recognition and a scream of horror comes like a full on
maybe
like acknowledgement that you're there.
So he's like, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm in trouble.
I'm so done.
Dude, in my mind, he's just locking eyes with the girl and Yoda's screaming at her. Just,
I mean, is it one of those things though where it's like the other, if you're talking about like just for some reason crossing dimensions for some random thing like that, whatever that creature is just hanging out in its own fucking dimension, and what they see is, oh man, there's a bed again. There's a weird bed that those humans show up. You know what I mean? Like, we're the fucking
So it's
other dimensional.
Can you
it's
imagine?
flipped.
And so when they say the children, and so they scream, it's like a skit, right?
Yeah,
It's like they scream, they scream.
It's the scariest
what
thing
do
in
you- what
another
do you-
dimension are children in beds. That would be fucking
I mean,
crazy.
if you
well, I mean,
with
if
Chris's
the
theory, if you
dimensions
take it
are
from-
real,
yeah.
you're the interloper,
Sure.
right?
Yeah,
to
if
them,
you
no
take it from
matter-
their perspective, it's like what was that movie with Nicole Kidman? We're ghosts.
The others.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like that. I think I referenced
It's like
it a couple
it's like
times.
your favorite movie.
I
now.
know. I got it.
It's like Clone Wars.
They were the
Others.
ghosts and they didn't know it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And fucking
All right,
Roadhouse.
listen. Yeah, Roadhouse, Ice Pirates, Predator 2.
Oh, Ice Pirates.
I mean, there's only one line in there that's worth it. Space herpes. But
Dude, Ice
I mean,
Pirates fucking rules.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. All right.
Raising Arizona.
when I was a kid, it ruled. It probably doesn't. But.
Raising
It doesn't.
Raising
Yeah.
Arizona.
Raising Arizona is fantastic. I love Raising
Give me
Arizona.
back my baby, you warthog from hell.
There it is.
Yeah. I want that in my grave.
And I do like Ice Pirates, despite all my better
Ice
instincts.
Pirates
Well,
fucking
it's-
rules,
yeah,
dude.
it's a
Revisit
thing.
it now, and I'll show
not
you how
great.
much nostalgia matters.
Dude, Nicole and I recently
Very little.
We fucking revisited like the first the first Nightmare on Elm Street, and I was like, oof, boy.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
I
it
watched it
wasn't
not too
great.
long ago, and it's fine.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't know.
I'm going to see it this Friday with Pepe at the
Okay,
theater.
well,
I'm super
I mean-
stoked.
I still think I love that movie to this.
Yeah,
I mean,
I was.
I
Just
do too.
not into it.
Really?
We are way off track here,
What?
boys.
I don't
Does
know,
Mark
man.
gotta-
we're
does
gonna, okay, we're
Mark-
going to talk about this in the Patreon.
All right.
You might. This is the future talking past.
Nice.
This is the past future,
I'm
Colin.
gonna bring us back to Michaela. She's locked eyes with Yoda. They're screaming.
Yeah, like when Drew Barrymore screamed at E.T.
Yes.
The puppet
That's
returns
right.
the scream.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
think about that.
Oh yeah,
That's
it's
the
precedent.
thing. Yeah.
Fuck.
So I said that's why I
Cinematic.
said it's like a skit. It's like
Okay.
right, scream, scream, scream back, scream back.
All right, man. Well, now where are we?
So Michaela goes on to say, in reference to her mother's encounter, no verbal communication like the Count. But even then, as a child, I could tell it wasn't just me having a bad dream. I never saw it again after that. I pushed my head and blanket as far into the pillow as I could and just waited for things to settle down. Heard the shuffle again, and it was gone. It wasn't loud enough to wake my parents. And I have such little recollection of it that I didn't tell my mother about Yoda. But I just never saw it again. I was terrified of Yoda for years following, understandably.
Yeah, it's gonna ruin Star Wars for you.
I will note that unlike my mother, it didn't have any weird teeth. It seemed toothless, really, like a near perfect replica. I still don't know how it got there or what it was doing, but it certainly was there. So, and she has another little weird encounter that we'll deal with in a second. I will say this. Putting it in context to her mother Nicole's encounter, which we discussed.
Yes.
Count
So
Von
that's
Count.
the thing. And this wait, so this was the first was that in the other place or was that also in this new house?
That I'm
The
not
Count.
sure.
I'm not sure.
She
I
says
feel
she
like-
moved
I
into
feel
a
like
new
she-
place at the beginning. So
I feel like in the original count she mentioned moving too, right? If I recall.
that detail escapes me.
Yeah,
but,
no, same
But assuming
here.
Chris is right, maybe both incidents occurred following a move, which would be a fact really worthy of note.
Yeah, that's what I was
Well,
wondering if that
and
was-
I mean, just being in the same family and experiencing the same weird, phenomenon of having these.
A clearly fictional character, one designed to appeal to children, one
Yeah.
that is definitely A, not human, and B, just well known to be created by famous artisans, Henson in one case, ILM in the other, probably with the help of Henson people, because Frank Oz, who was a notorious, notorious is the wrong word, but like famed for being Henson's partner,
Right.
did the
100%.
puppeteering and
Yeah,
the voice for
100%.
Yoda.
Yeah.
So, basically a very close exchange of ideas that these Henson-esque characters that were very popular in the 1980s and, beyond, obviously, were both reflected in the nocturnal encounters that a mother and child had. On one hand, to put a skeptical spin, you could say a child hears about, say their mom's UFO sighting and then claims to or believes they honestly do see a UFO in their backyard
Right.
because they've heard the stories and they want to be part of this family tradition. I'm not saying Michaela made this up. I'm not saying it all, but you have to put it out there. It has to be addressed. Tabling that because there's nowhere to really go with that.
Right.
Is there a certain form of energy or interdimensional manifestation or demonic entity, if you want to go like strictly, Judeo-Christian, some sort of force that is manifesting itself as children's characters for whatever reason? In the case of the mom, can't get the teeth quite right.
Right.
Has really insidious activities that go with it. But we don't know how far Yoda might have gone in this direction had maybe Michaela not scared it away with her shriek of terror, which triggered a mutual shriek of terror, then the hiding of the face.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too you have to acknowledge. Like, how often, I'm going on a limb here, but how often does a paranormal encounter continue when the child, the adult, whoever it is, can't help but stare at the assailant, the paranormal assailant, and
Right.
it gets closer and it bites the toes or it does some other equally insidious shit and it's watching and it can't tear itself away. But if you manage to turn around, shut your eyes, bury your face in a pillow,
Yeah.
you hear a few sounds, but almost never do the attacks increase. Almost as if what's feeding them or what's getting them off or what the rules of engagement are is that you have to look and be participatory even in the
Right.
experience of terror. You're allowed to feel terror, but if you're shutting your eyes and shutting your ears like the rules of engagement are over, the Marcus Queensberry rules for fucking hauntings
Yeah, it's
is
beds
not
and blankets
made,
rules.
and you fucking scoot.
Yeah, it's
I'm not
almost
saying
like
horror's never continued after people have closed their eyes, but mostly it ends soon after.
Yeah, it's almost like inviting a vampire in. Like there's a set rules of, or if because you're not making eye contact, or maybe you're acknowledging it in the sense of it's scaring you, but you're not locking eyes with it and getting right into its shit. That maybe because you are turned away, it's somehow that I'm not sure what that would be. Like how that would save you from it, because it'd be one thing if you pull like an It and you're like, I'm not afraid of you and you're nothing, you're stupid and dumb, and then it's like, I have no power, and it dies.
It shrinks to the size of a fucking
Yeah, and it's like, it's all
a
mad
G.I. Joe
shit.
guy. It's like,
But
crap.
but with this, obviously, you're giving it power and terror because you're cowering and you're hiding from it, so you're scared from it.
Right.
But like you're saying, maybe it's something physical where you have to be, face to face or something.
It's
with
worth
it.
entertaining only because with the the volumes that the three of us collectively have encountered through documentaries, books, whatever over the years, because we've been huge aficionados of paranormal material even long before we started doing this. I've never really seen it acknowledged that a certain amount of time turning a blind eye, a lot of the time turning a blind eye, even when still subject to true terror, it ends the encounter.
Right.
Or they fall
Yeah,
back
no, for
asleep
sure.
or whatever,
Yeah.
almost like post an abduction. It would be an interesting thing to look at. But
no.
specifically to Nicole and Michaela's account, what would it be? And particularly if Chris, if what he pointed out earlier is correct, and that they both happened following their move into this new place, what would have been in this new place that would decide to manifest itself as popular children's characters? As much as Yoda was beloved by all ages, still a children's character.
I mean, or that's the form they take, like she was saying. Like they actually take that form as a way to either ingratiate themselves into you, like, oh, let's Teddy Ruxpin, or whoever, or Yoda.
Eddie Ruxpin.
Except that the Count clearly was fucking super evil.
oh yeah, that's the
and
thing.
being
Yeah.
a dickhead.
Like, there's part of me that wants to say maybe it's trying to look good because it's trying to say, I want to talk to you. I'm trying to put on a face that is weird. So you
Right.
recognize I'm not you, but not terrifying. So you recognize I'm not trying to be scary. But then when you are, a friendly kid's muppet with rot tooth dentures and are trying to attack somebody,
Yeah, it's a problem.
that's a problem.
yeah.
Who knows what Yoda would have done, but it's hard not to, based on the past performances of fucking puppets in this house, to assume the fucking
Yeah,
worst.
You can't be
Yeah.
like, Yoda's the good one.
I'm
like,
not here
he's
to-
fine.
I'm not here to puppet profile, but under these circumstances, I can't help but think,
No.
God damn.
Every time you see a puppet, you're like, that's not supposed to be here. It's going to have bad intentions.
I
for
mean,
you,
it's,
for
you
sure.
can't. Your mom can't have the experience she had, and you be cool with puppets.
So with Michaela's story here, we can wrap it up where she has a little postscript here about an encounter that we don't have all the details to, but it is kind of interesting.
Yeah, it is. The strangest encounter I can really talk about is probably the static people. And that reminds me of the Telegion, the old Ishiro Honda. I think he directed that, but it was an old movie starring Yoshio Toshiya from Toho Films where he turned into television signals.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy. Oh,
I did not know about
we
that.
got a full-on poltergeist attack here in the studio,
Yeah, I think
just so you know.
it'll be fine.
But yeah, no, it's a classic, 1950s, early 60s, maybe, I think late 50s Toho sci-fi movie. No
Really?
giant monsters.
Okay, cool. But he turns into like television signals.
And then he can go around getting revenge on people and killing those who have
Whoa!
wronged him.
Oh, is it kind of like Shocker? Another one of my favorite movies.
You think of it as a pre-shocker.
Dude,
yeah.
Shocker.
I saw that at the movies.
Yeah,
What the
Horace
hell-
Pinker, so did I.
Yes, Horace Pinker.
I mean, the soundtrack is what lured me in. 'cause
Oh,
it's
yeah,
just
Megadeth.
a heavy metal
Yes.
fucking soundtrack.
Mitch Pileggi played him of X-Files
sure did.
fame. He was the one that played the boss at
He
the
played
FBI.
the Shocker.
And he played the Shocker. He was
Yeah.
the actual killer. And it was
Oh my
designed
God,
to be the
was
new
it really
franchise,
was
but it
it
only
Mitch
made one.
Pileggi?
Yeah.
Holy! Why did I? Oh my God! I gotta look this up now.
Yeah.
Hold
Just
on.
trust me. I know my 80s
Great
slashers.
soundtrack. Yeah.
Dude, I did
No,
not
that might have
realize it
been
was
90.
Mitch Pileggi.
That was right on
It
the
was
edge.
close. That was border.
Oh, my internet sucks. My phone. Regardless, I'll look it up later. But,
But
all
yeah,
right, cool.
So anyway, static people.
Yep, stay people.
I saw on and off through childhood. I don't know if static is the right word for it. And if I get the time, I'll write it down. I'll write down more on them. But think of them as these weirdly humanoid, lanky, two-dimensional, and three-dimensional space things. That's interesting.
That's cool.
Like paper people, but staticky, I'm assuming. They looked like they were made of TV snow. Or at one point, almost like a bunch of crinkled up paper. I didn't see them often, but they're lodged into my brain. Growing up, I had a lot more nightmares than most kids did, which I'm now unsure if they were nightmares or if there was something more. Regardless, it's strange how most encounters like this come to children when the plausibility of them being asleep and having a nightmare outweighs anything else. Thanks again. So you're absolutely right. I mean, and I can't even imagine, none of us can even put a reasonable estimate on how many genuine paranormal encounters that children have been dismissed as bad dreams or overactive imaginations by parents. Parents that can't imagine, parents that won't imagine, parents that don't even want to begin to presume that something like this could be real. When a kid wakes up screaming, it is so much easier, and they're not wrong. I mean, probably most of the time they're still right that it is just a bad dream or the residue of something you saw on TV earlier, or Christ knows where, the seeds of a fucking nightmare are laid. But, they come to fruition when you're asleep. So probably most of the time parents say that they're right, but that still leaves probably millions, if not more, genuine paranormal encounters that are dismissed as bad dreams by parents that just don't know any better and don't want to look any deeper. And for most kids, they will remember it as a bad dream if they remember it at all. And maybe that's the healthiest way to deal with it. Because as we've been discussing ad infinitum, both in Stardust and other places, the more you acknowledge these fuck-alls, the more significance they have in their own eyes and the more power they seem to claim.
And then they're drinking all your fucking adrenochrome through your toes and shit.
Like straws.
Oh,
Yeah, just sucking
fungal straws.
I just sucking all the adrenochrome right out of your fucking ankles.
I mean, it's interesting to really. I mean, like if this was in the same house, then there's different angles, right? You can be like, okay, maybe there's the property, there's something with the house, there's something going on.
or
If it's happen in different houses, then it's like, well, what now we're talking
the family
a
association.
genetic thing.
well, yeah,
perhaps.
or it's something that follows them.
If you're right. If it happened in one house to the parent and then another house to the child, there would definitely be. It's worthwhile to see updates, and it would be worthwhile to see other encounters like this. We dealt with it in Puppet People. I know that there's a plethora of cases out there, whether Sesame Street characters and things like that. So it's a body of work that's worthy of study.
Yeah, no, for sure. So yes, thank you, Michaela. We appreciate you sending that in, and obviously give you all of our best to you and your mother.
Of course.
I'm pretty sure that Nicole still listens, so shout out to Nicole. And moving on here, we're going to be closing this episode out with our final story here. This comes to us from, I'm not going to give the last name here, so I'm going to scroll to the bottom to make sure that they say here, Richard. Okay, Richard. So just when you thought you couldn't get more of the count, guess what?
Oh, so we're doing a follow-up right away.
Well, this is a follow-up in the sense of Richard experienced count on count as well.
Oh, so a separate count on count.
This is
Encounter.
all right. No, this is exactly what I'm talking about.
This is
perfect.
This is what the miasma of my theme, where I'm like, we got a puppet people, we got Nicole's daughter, and then we have another fucking count on count encounter. This email came to us back in like 2022, and I've been sitting on it forever.
Oh man,
Yeah,
you have made a theme, sir.
I've tried to cobble together a semblance of things that make sense together.
Is the
I'm so
count
proud
the
of
new
you.
Bigfoot?
Oh my God. Could you imagine?
Is this like
Dude,
is this a thing now?
This one might be almost on par with Nicole.
Am I going to have to write a book about fucking Muppet attacks?
Is
Is that what's going to make our mark?
A cryptid and fucking
Yeah, you might have
Henson
to.
just created the count based on this fucking
Did
thing
Henson
that
have
looks
an
like
encounter when he was a
purple
child?
goblin-looking fucking thing?
And try to
right?
make him kid-friendly?
I'll just make him a vampire because that's what it kind of
Yeah.
looks
Well, and vampires are OCD about numbers. Like you throw beans in front
gotta
of them or
count 'em
something,
and
they have to
shit,
count
yeah.
that shit
Y-
all
yeah.
up in classic lore anyway. So, I mean, it's a direct tie. Like you almost have to wonder: was Henson aware of that? Was he aware of classic vampire lore before he made his
Well,
fucking
because the count counts
or is it
everything,
literally
yeah.
just because it's count? It probably was just that simple and stupid. Not dismissing Mr. Henson's work, but Jesus, it probably was just that he was
you
the
know
count.
about vampires enough to make that connection. It seems
Yeah.
right about the weird.
Yeah, no, I'd like to
Counting.
give him the benefit of that, but also it's the fucking count.
Well,
Regardless,
here we go.
strap in is the first sentence. In childhood, aged around 4, like another of your listeners, which is the aforementioned Nicole, I'm assuming, I was repeatedly visited by the Muppet vampire of Sesame Street himself, Count Von Count, in a series of ... incidents.
Oh boy.
At
Yep.
the time, these got labeled as nightmares by my parents and a therapist or two, like we were just saying, but I don't consider them dreams, partly because they are unlike any dream I've had before or since, in tone and content, but also just because their intensity and vividness made them so much more real and frightening. It's the difference between gunshots on TV and gunshots in your living room. That's a very vivid example. That's
Yeah,
solid.
that's-
okay.
That brings it right home.
Yeah, that fucking ties that shit together right there, dude.
So the weird thing is, I set out to write the experiences down for you guys, but in reliving them in detail, I suddenly came to an absolutely horrifying realization about the meaning and nature of it all that has scared the shit out of me. Oh,
Okay.
personal revelations that terrify
All
you.
right, bring the horror.
Yeah, I guess so.
Bring the cosmic existential horror. Bring it home.
Jesus Christ. I know. It's almost like if you're hanging out with Lovecraft and you're like, but do you want to see inside the closet?
Oh yeah.
The one that shows me the things that shan't be seen? And I'll be like, HP, you know I love you, bro, but I don't know.
Yeah. No.
But here we go.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's dive in.
Something 4-year-old me was not equipped to recognize and interpret is now glaringly obvious and horrifying in its implications. Anyway, I'll start with the very basic rundown of the experiences. The encounter happened pretty identically at least 3 or 4 times. Then I'll go on to tell you what I have now just realized about it. And there seems to be lots of S's in here, so I'm thinking this might be from the good old UK.
Oh well, yeah. It's hotmail.
Right on.
.uk.
No, I didn't even read that part.
Oh yeah. I didn't. Oh wow. Chris, fucking internet sleuth over here with the fucking .co.uk.
Indeed.
Master hacker Chris Carnicelli.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, don't give
You
any
know me.
Don't give any credit to me for reading it out there. But yeah, no, you're right. Master hacker.
Dude, you are the master detective. He's the master hacker.
I'm the Gary Shandling of this bitch.
I think we're all the Gary Shandling of what we do.
Yeah, we are. We literally are. I kind of fancy myself a John Lovitz.
Oh, bless your
I
heart.
fancy myself a John Lovitz.
I'm a fan of both of theirs. I'm not even
yeah,
gonna lie.
well, vocally, yeah.
It's me. Well, you say acting.
Wow.
Yeah,
Flawless.
Yeah. All right.
To continue.
Gary Shandling.
I would be in bed and become aware of a presence in the corner of the room. One of the corners of the room, I couldn't quite crane my neck from my position in bed. I knew it was the Count from brief glimpses of him caught out of the corner of my eye and from his unmistakable voice. Now, I love Sesame Street, and I wasn't at all afraid of the Count on TV, but this was quite different. The Count's visits to my room would fill me with the worst dread and terror I had ever and have ever experienced, in a way that I can't quite explain. Even though he was lurking on the peripheries of my vision, his presence was somehow at the center of my experience. His voice boomed and echoed like it was coming from inside my own head, and his will was in my head too, like mind control.
How fucking creepy is
Yeah.
that?
It's like vamp thrall.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
Actual-
the Count's voice like, you will do what I want. One. Ha, 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 ha. How fucking unnerving is that shit, dude?
Who knows what he really said, but
I know, but it can't
a
be,
horror
it
show.
can't be great if you hear him in your fucking head.
I don't love it.
No.
if he's offering pizza or something, I don't know.
He's not offering pizza, dude.
Do you know it for sure?
Well, he's offering something. Believe me, we'll get to that.
Boy.
Spoiler fucking alert.
Okay.
That's not a spoiler. That's just ominous foreshadowing.
yeah,
Oh,
it was
Jesus.
offering something.
I've been sitting on this for a while, okay? And I told Rob, I'm like, I'm going to need you to do some writing on this one for an intro for me, but you might not want to read the stories quite
So
yet.
that's why the intros that will be presented will be written post this.
Yes.
Because this is all brand new for Chris and I, at least.
Yes. So let's see what the count's up to.
The Count's booming, echoey voice would give me commands inside my own head. In a furious tone like that of my own father at his angriest, and I would feel powerless against a morbid desire to disobey his every order.
To obey.
Yes, I'm
Desire
sorry.
to obey.
Yes, my bad. So the morbid desire is brought on by the... And can you do an angry count, Von Count, Mark? Like
yeah.
your angriest
So
your
hold
dad
on.
ever was?
Wait.
Do you want me to throw something at your head? Make you mad?
Yeah. I can't do it. No, what is wrong with you? But it doesn't work. You can't.
Yeah, that's just a little.
You're just warming
a
up
lot
your
of chest
tool.
voice
It's a
there.
little aggravated count. I don't know. How does the count yell?
Exactly.
No.
No, you're gonna lose the accent if you start screaming.
No, exactly.
Right?
You can't. Yeah, it's awful. I'm not the master of voices like Christopher Carnicelli.
I'm not the master of voices.
I can't do
I'm the
it.
Gary Shandling of voices.
Yeah, I can't do an angry count. An angry count.
And what would... Jesus Christ. And what was he commanding me to do? He wanted me to eat a jam sandwich. That's it. He would show me a huge hunk of roughly cut white bread slathered with strawberry jam.
Bro.
And for some reason, I was scared of it, but somehow drawn to it, sickly desirous of it because of the mind control.
I was not far off. I said pizza.
You
Yeah, that's
did.
why I
And
said you were. Yeah, no, you were there.
That's
dude.
nuts.
He's offering something. It wasn't pizza. It's jam sandwiches.
Now, I mean, I prefer jam over jelly every day. Strawberry jam all
I don't
the
like
time.
either of
Grape
them.
Yeah,
jelly,
no,
go fuck
yeah,
yourself.
me too. I prefer. Yeah, me too.
But I would like some peanut butter on this sandwich.
Yeah, I don't fuck with either of them.
No, I do like a PB&J. I'm
Okay,
not saying I
that's
crave it
fine.
like,
I
like
do crave it
heroin
sometimes,
like,
though.
but I do
Really?
I do enjoy it.
But
I haven't had one
I've
in-
eaten just jam and jelly sandwiches for sure.
I haven't had one. Like
Absolutely.
I haven't had one in
mean-
years.
I mean,
I just never been a fan.
If that's what the monster wants you to do, unless there's something concealed within the jam, like his Muppet blood that will turn you or something.
Oh, the Muppet Sacrament. Blood of my blood.
The
Blood of my blood.
Is it like
the white
thread?
bread is his body, and the
my
jam
body
is his.
in my blood, my body. Ha, ha, ha.
I'd like you to do Roman Catholic Mass as the count. And that should be a Patreon thing. And we'll all just pay $20 to hear the whole Mass done
Nice.
I mean, you can do that.
All
in
right.
Latin.
So now the count
Even
has
better.
jam. The count has jam sandwiches.
Yes.
This is not where I thought it was
nomen
going.
tibi. Yeah, I did it in Latin.
You did.
Yeah, I did.
You lose the accent a little bit, but it's acceptable. We'll work on it. It's going to be on the Patreon.
It's gonna totally be on the Patreon.
So-
Y'all are missing out if you ain't gone there.
That's what I experienced. A Muppet vampire living in the corner of my room using psychic powers to project a terrifying voice into my head which wanted me to eat jam sandwiches.
That's where we're at.
Just to say again, however much it sounds like one, it really didn't feel like a dream. And here's where I had my absolutely chilling realization while listening to you guys, no less. I was thinking about this crazy bread and jam thing and racking my brain to figure out what the fuck it meant. So I conjure up the visual memory of the thing and suddenly it hits me like a bus. Looking at it with adult eyes, it's not bread and jam at all. It's something else soft and white with a covering of messy red stuff. It's a pallid hunk of human flesh covered with thick, dripping, partly congealed blood.
Yeah, yeah, driving it home,
So
boys.
it's just like Lost Boys. Is
Yes.
it wild rice or maggots?
Yeah.
Maggots.
Is it worms or
Billy.
fucking lo
whatever
mein?
it is. Yeah.
Dude, you think
I
it's a
hated that
jam
part.
sandwich, but
Yeah.
you're not. It's fucking. It's he's got some Jeffrey Dahmer shit going on here, dude.
Enjoy your ladybug pie. And they're not even offensive, but if there's a ladybug, if like I cut into a pie and it was ladybugs, I'd be like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Still sucks.
Nah,
No,
really
I
bad.
opened a can of
need that.
spinach once, and there was like one dead ladybug in there, and I felt bad because they're beautiful little lucky creatures, if you believe in that. And then part of me is like, also like, you fucked up my spinach. I can't.
Yeah, you
I
can't
can't
eat
eat
that
this.
shit.
I'm not eating this whole
Now,
can
if
of
you're
spinach.
expecting
Yeah, I
a delicious
know.
jam sandwich and you get human
Now you can't be
flesh and
strong and
blood.
beat up Brutus because a dead lady like fucked up your.
Exactly.
Nice. You're expecting a nice jam sandwich, dude, and look what you get.
Oh.
You get Jeffrey Dahmered.
And it's not even fresh. When the blood's congealed, that
Yeah.
shit's been sitting out, and it probably wasn't refrigerated.
Oh, it's awful, though, to think
Sitting
about.
out on a hot counter.
Yeah.
Dead flesh is worse than mayo. You cannot let that sit out.
No, it goes, Bob.
It will
goes
turn
bad
quick.
very
They're
pretty
fast.
equal.
Yeah.
So separating.
Yeah. Oh, gross. A little sense of separation. All right. Well,
Son of a bitch.
let's
That
see what-
realization was the most true feeling and instantly horrifying conclusion I have ever come to in my life. The moment I realized, my stomach plummeted and I felt weightless with the gross terror of it, and with the certainty that it was true, and that I finally understood at least a part of what I'd been looking at all those years. I guess I had never seen a lump of bleeding flesh like that as a relatively sheltered child. 4 years old, don't expect you to have seen slabs of human flesh.
I mean,
or otherwise.
Yeah, or an unsheltered child. You
Yeah.
don't just generally see.
Yeah.
4
no.
years old is not the point where you've seen fucking slabs of skin, pale skin, and
Yeah.
fucking congealed.
I mean, even some
blood.
super cool fucking 4-year-olds smoking cigarettes and swearing, they ain't never seen that
They're
shit.
the cool. Even when they got their temporary tattoos that they're
Yeah.
outlining
Hanging
and
out in
fucking
dumpsters,
permanent
eating ho-hos
markers.
and ding dongs. You ain't seen no fleshy lumps.
Oh God.
Listen, I was not in that dumpster for long. I ate all the ding dongs, and I did not see any fleshy lumps. Okay, there's nothing
I'm
over
saying.
there.
You were too
Yeah.
young.
I was.
You were too sheltered
I
by the dumpster.
Fucking smoking butts in the dumpster, dude.
Whereas I had seen a huge number of jam sandwiches by that point. As such, I can see how my mind made a substitution, reached for the nearest and safest placeholder when dealing with the experience. So it's not like, eat the jam sandwich. That's a terrible count, but I'm just doing what I do.
We got it. I understood what you were doing.
I loved it.
He's literally saying,
He's almost Italian. Eat to the jam
It's a
sandwich.
me,
It's a me.
County.
Yeah.
Everyone goes to the Mario.
It's a me account.
Eat the fleshy. I mean the sandwich.
oh, hey.
Would you sappy? Oh.
Oh my god. Okay, we're gonna get arrested.
Yeah, we are. We're
Dude,
done.
Giuseppe's, the fucking pizza place.
Oh, God.
It's
that
my
doesn't make
favorite.
it better.
It's my favorite.
Really?
Yes, I love Giuseppe's.
Better than Angelo's.
No, fuck.
Of course you don't.
Get
Mama,
outta
yeah,
here.
no,
Yeah,
you're
shut your
right.
fucking mouth.
All
I
right,
knew it.
fine.
Go
you're-
through our new door and leave. Leave our new studio.
All right, you're right. I feel like I turned on Ange. I'm sorry.
Man,
I'm apologizing.
hand built this place.
Hand built. Out of pizza dough and love.
All right, Ange. I'm sorry.
This
Robert,
revelation,
continue.
revelation leaves me pretty shaken, unsure now how to place and discuss the newly disturbing memory. This email might once have been a relatively lighthearted subject line like, the Count used to come to my room and offer me sandwiches. Now I find myself drafting titles barely suitable for polite company. The Count used to visit me and psychically pressure me into feeding on human flesh. Where does the dinner party conversation go after that?
It almost
Good question.
It
Yeah.
almost sounds
Yeah.
like it is some weird sacrament thing. Like
Oh,
it
it's
is some,
100%.
it's some weird fucking
Yeah, well,
like.
Dude, it doesn't
vampires-
almost sound like it.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
sacramental elements of
No.
eating flesh are bored deep into billions
Yeah.
of human beings on earth. They're called Christians.
Well, yeah, but no, like Jeffrey Dahmer gave his fucking neighbor a sandwich that was fucking human meat, but I think that was just being like sadistic.
Yes.
But I was, so I guess with the Count, I was thinking not like a Jeffrey Dahmer level. Obviously, we're talking two different things here. I'm thinking like, is the Count being sadistic to like torture this kid, or is this a part of like some sort of like ceremony thing where it's like eat the flesh of the
I think-
human?
Well, I mean, vamps
And
are
become a
have
Mario.
that gothic.
What Chris is saying, in Gothic tradition, the sacrament is a big part of it. Like, I don't know if this goes back to like traditional Nosferatic lore of like the bloated corpse that comes out and just eats everybody until like the
Yeah.
community eats them in their grave and puts like iron in their jaw to hold it open. But in the Gothic tradition, the idea of partaking of the flesh, which means you have to drink the vampire's blood as well as them drinking yours.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just a victim and not going to become one of their brethren, their undead, soulless, immortal brethren, no longer seen by the eyes of God, but living forever in a state of carnal ecstasy and eternal boredom, or whatever the fuck the caveats are.
Yeah.
That all demands the sacrament. You eat the flesh, you eat the blood.
Yeah, whether it's the vampire or they bite you and then you're first other
gotcha.
flesh
Yeah,
and blood.
the first one you
Right.
attack. You're right.
Yeah.
The
So-
consummation, you're right, can come in your first victim, or you drink the blood, or in like back to Lost Boys, that bottle of wine that the
Yeah.
fucking Sutherland was offering the pretty boy Patrick.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Regardless,
that's
there's a
right.
consumption
There's always
somewhere.
Yeah, it has to
Right.
be an exchange,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Weird.
a sacrifice and an exchange. So in the sense that, is this thing trying to convert him somehow or corrupt him? Which would be a
Yeah.
better way of putting it, because it's not even necessarily that I'm going to turn you into a Muppet vampire,
Right.
but that even though you're a child and you don't know better, by you agreeing to eat this, putrid flesh and congealed blood, you have sullied yourself. You are in effect a ghoul. You are you eat the flesh of the dead humans,
Well,
and
maybe,
you
yeah.
are corrupt, and you are now ripe for takeover by demons, by other nefarious elements in the world. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe that's how it makes the minions.
It could
Like,
be.
yeah. Like
And
if
you
it's-
get turned at an
I mean,
early enough age.
Vampires,
It's
I
not
mean,
fair. It's
historically have underlings that are ghouls, all sorts of undead that
Yeah.
under vampires.
Renfield-y type
Skeletons,
fuckers.
ghouls, fucking half-turned, the Dompiers.
the bug eaters.
Don Pierce.
don't laugh.
Suckpires.
Don't laugh at my knowledge.
Oh shit, that's fucking great. The Don Pierce.
Dompiers.
So, yeah. There's a couple different things here too. So, okay, obviously,
Well,
we got a final
oh,
paragraph.
sorry.
Let's end this, and then we'll deal with it.
All right, cool.
I'm left with about 1 million more unanswered questions, but there's one in particular which I think cuts to the core of why this whole thing has got me so freaked out. If my child mind replaced a frightening lump of bloody flesh, with a child-friendly jam sandwich, then should I be wondering if something like that happened with the actual figure of Count Von Count himself? Oh, that's interesting. That he replaced it with a child-friendly figure rather than the abject horror of what was actually offering him the flesh sandwich. Okay, that is to
that's
say,
a weird. Okay.
who or what was really in my room under that cloak? What strange, malevolent, unashamedly flesh-eating being might I have encountered that was so frightening or so unknowable or so incompatible with a childish view of the universe as essentially benign that my mind unilaterally redacted it out of my consciousness and replaced it with a puppet from a beloved TV show? It's important to note, he adds, and no, I do not have diabetes.
No,
Thank you for noting that,
You
Richard.
got to put those in there.
It's on the table until
no,
you take it off.
It is. So he
I
does,
was not a drunk
he
child.
does.
Diabetes.
Yeah. I was not a fucking 4-year-old with a drug habit.
That's something I'm glad he pointed out. I really am.
That's
because
a really interesting take on it.
I
though.
didn't think about it like that. But if you're right, if your mind is constantly now, I don't know. I'm not an expert, and I thank God, because I don't know if I'd have the heart for it. Like, terrible things happen to children all the time, and it's a god-awful thing, and I am so glad there are human beings with the wherewithal and the training to help them through this.
Yeah, thank God, Jesus.
I don't know how much of that they gloss over, or which is to say, how many times adults that don't deal with it right when it happens have recollect upon it as if it is a fantasy, as it is changed, as whatever. I'm sure there is literature galore. I'm just not experienced with it. But to a degree, at least through the pop cultural references I know, it does seem like we tend to mask things, hide things, conceal things. I know that memory is a shoddy shit show, and that I've conflated memories, not even particularly bad ones, but just
oh my God, me too.
two cool events that just happened that same day in my mind, but were like fucking 3 years apart or something.
Yeah.
So is it a possibility that when something is this violently traumatic, psychologically violently at least, that not only do you see a strawberry fucking sandwich, a jam sandwich in place of a hunk of flesh and lots of blood, but that you transpose the one vampire you can tolerate as a child, as a fucking 4-year-old child, or in the case of, Michaela, as a Star Wars character that looks goblin-esque, but isn't really a terrifying Gollum-esque toothy nightmare, but is like fucking friendly old Yoda, whatever the case may be. Is there a chance that that is a safety latch of the mind transposing something much more tolerable into the place of something infinitely less acceptable, not only to the mind of a child, but even to the mind of an adult that has to deal with it?
So is that like a response to trauma, or like almost like a PTSD thing?
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
and fully admitting that I don't know, nor do I have the experience to speculate reasonably.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Cannot. None of us
guess,
can.
Especially being a kid like that, when you're young, like you don't really have a point of reference for a lot of shit. You're just going off of what you know. Yeah, you have no fucking idea.
Your world is your home. Maybe your preschool if you go to preschool.
Yeah, I don't know which one's more fucking
The
terrifying.
shit you see on TV or whatever.
Yeah, that's it.
That like something is cloaking itself to get this kid to partake in some fucking weird cannibalistic sacrifice thing, or that whatever it was so shocking that he just transposed all this shit himself because he was just young and terrified and all fucked up.
And let's jump to the
That's
other.
That's a suckville.
The fuck-sucking elephant in every room that we're talking about, which is the goddamn Greys. To say this so many times,
Right.
like I just watched a documentary recently. It was on fucking Tubi, and it was this guy that had all sorts of experiences, but basically he remembered Ultraman being outside of his bathroom when he was a kid. He went, got a drink of water.
Our Ultraman?
All Ultraman, a tiny little Ultraman. He loved Ultraman. He watched it on UHF stations. So it must have been the 1960s version, or at least one of the early
Was it
70s
7?
ones. I don't know. Let's say it's Taro, just for
Yeah,
shits and
he's
giggles.
he's my favorite.
I know, because I know
love
you.
Taro.
Of course you
He's
do.
my- dude, and his
Everyone
brother
loves him.
Astra.
So my point is,
They're all brothers.
Taro was there. They're all brothers, or, except for the parent and the mom.
I think
Well,
Taro,
and there's like
father and
uncle.
mother.
Taro might be
Yeah.
a cousin.
Okay. Years later,
Adopted.
under more extreme meditative, I guess hypnosis, for lack of a better term, even though we know how sketchy we can be about that.
Oh yeah.
He came to the conclusion, oh no, this wasn't, he had been abducted by Greys on a pretty regular basis, and they've been preparing him, as a lot of people think, a lot of abductees think, and I know I'm going into left field with this. They're being prepared to fulfill a function when the great revelation comes, when the great epiphany of alien existence comes. Like some people will literally be directing traffic, and other people will be, I don't know, filling out forms.
Yeah,
And maybe in the Bible it was written, you get the mark of the beast. Maybe it's something evil. Maybe it's something great. Maybe it's just some bullshit. Maybe it's another layer of bureaucracy we're all going to have to deal with, and who the fuck knows?
Yeah, right.
But they feel like they're fulfilling some purpose. But Ultraman in specific, with the little wingdings coming off his head and all that, that was a mantis. And he realized that all the suffering that he had had at the hands of Ultraman and his acolytes
Oh, what a bummer.
was really an educational process that was preparing him to deal with this coming thing. Now, I don't know if this is another layer of lies to cover another layer of lies to make you feel better about it. But my point is this. This kid claims to have seen Ultraman, believes it his whole life, only to find out in his like 40s or 50s, he actually had an encounter with a mantis.
Mantis aliens.
Aliens are constantly, 100% constantly masking who they are in our consciousness. Now, who's to say the things that we think of as demons, things that we think of as interdimensional beings that just happen to work at a higher vibrational and or more efficient psychological level than we're accustomed to, cannot just impose these things. As easy peasy as say, I don't know, like trap a fucking small animal. Like we can fool them into thinking, oh no, here's your carrot. It's not really a box that's going to fall on you. I'm talking like the most rudimentary, like rabbit trap you make as a kid or something. Like if we can fool people like smaller, more ignorant creatures like that, who's to say what these things can't do to us on a daily? And if it's easier for them to say, pick your favorite character from your childhood, think it was him, he pushed you down the stairs, forget about it. Then you just do. And then some people don't, and then some people keep digging. But when it's a flesh sandwich and it's a fucking beloved Sesame Street character and it won't leave you the fuck alone, who's to say? I mean, I'm inclined to think that demons aren't typically demons. I don't have an Abrahamic view of the world. I think that there's some truth in that.
Right.
You and I have been through the fucking the Catholic grind hole.
Yeah,
we know what it's like, and we've come out the other side, more literate and more experienced, and just not quite as susceptible to that. So while I just went to see Exorcist with Pepe yesterday, I still find it to be an effective and fun horror film. In no way, shape, or form do I feel like it is oppressive or frightening like other people I know that are like latent Catholics that just can't quit completely on it. But that doesn't mean I don't think, and this is even in ways more terrifying, and we did deal with it briefly in Stardust, that there are more insidious, malevolent, predatory beings out there that you might as well call a fucking demon, even if they're not from a brimstone-filled Judeo-Christian hell, that will definitely fuck you up in the short term if it behooves them in any way.
Yeah.
And that they wouldn't, for whatever reasons, from shits and giggles to a higher priority, make you eat the flesh of a dead other person just to corrupt you enough to get some sort of jolly or to eat your fucking terror or whatever the fuck it is that ultra-terrestrials / interdimensionals are supposed to do.
Dude.
Yeah,
Sucking on your fear, dude.
That's the problem with paranormal evil, for lack of a better
Yeah.
word. Like, what's
Yeah,
why?
honestly.
Like, where?
Yeah,
Why?
like, I guess like what do they get out of it is the big question. And obviously there's been theories like, sucking your fear or adrenochrome, whatever else, the fucking weird cute fucking
Sure.
Pizzagate shit.
Yeah, I
But
don't like to go
there's-
that
Because
deep.
I feel
But
like
there's
this-
something has to be there. Like they must be getting something out of it.
But for years I was able to reject wholesale the idea of paranormal evil. For years, I was just a full-on atheist for most of my life. And even though I don't find myself an atheist now, I still don't necessarily believe in the the Satan paradigm of you're a rejected angel because you had a couple of free thoughts, which by the way only makes me endear myself to Lucifer. It's like everyone's going to question authority a little bit.
The real story behind the story is
The Gnostic story
Like,
it's
much
much more
more-
interesting. Yeah.
Right.
So my point is I don't get trapped in that so much. But so because I was able to reject the religious upbringing I had, I was able to wholesale reject the paranormal aspects. But the older I get and the more versed I am in how people seem to be interacting with unknown intelligences, the less I'm like, oh, wait, a Bigfoot is an unknown hominid, an alien is from another planet, and they're just slightly more advanced than us technologically and perhaps spiritually, and whatever else fills in the blank. The older you get, the more Keelian you become, at least in my experience. I mean, I'm
Bobby
fucking
Keel, dude.
I'm 51 now, and I've spent years being like pragmatic and like just compartmentalizing all this shit. And now I'm starting to get to the point now, and I know it's to the chagrin of many, where I'm not like full on like it's all crazy and it's all ultra terrestrial and it's all magic whale bullshit. Not at all. But I'm more inclined to think like maybe some of the stuff that seems paranormal is fucking paranormal, but it has a sort of science behind it that is the equivalent of string theory, except you don't have Michio Kaku and other geniuses working on it yet. You had Aleister Crowley and a bunch of fuck-alls working on it back in the day.
Dude.
But in reality, it is just a valid a science. It's just no one's exploring it. But in that science, you might as well call them demons or goblins or fairies. You might as well say it because they're fucking there and they're fucking around.
You went full Bobby Keel.
It's twice now.
Anyone who was born in religious and gets out of it usually comes to that realization.
Right.
Like you feel like there's a thing, but I don't believe it's divine providence,
understandable.
right? Like,
Yeah.
But
It's just unknown science.
yeah, there's right. And then if you find it out, it's fucking science and it becomes part of the natural world. Therefore, not paranormal. It is fucking normal.
But
You just
right
found
now, because it is
I got
so
the fucking
unknown,
Keel twins over
it is
here.
so unexplored,
Well-
it is paranormal. It is a
it.
cult.
We grew up similarly. That's
We did.
why,
Oh,
like,
no.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
Very
we
similarly.
grew up half a block away from each other in Catholic institutions,
Yeah.
very similarly,
There you
with
go.
similar upbringing. And so, we definitely went through similar experiences, but I just can't. I'm never going to close my mind to it. I'm never going to dismiss people's
no, you
personal
can't. You
experiences.
shouldn't.
No, you shouldn't. at all.
Sometimes, sure, it's pharmaceuticals, and sometimes it is mental disorders, and sometimes it's fucking diabetes. I'm not even gonna. We say it as a joke, but we say it serious. Sometimes it is all these things, but every now and again, legitimate people are having experiences they cannot fathom,
Yeah.
and it is not something that is something we understand now in 2023.
Yeah.
And it won't be something we'll understand in 2048, though hopefully we'll understand it better.
That'd be great.
And maybe
Yeah.
AI, maybe one of the many things are AI overlords
Oh, no.
who I love and respect, and
Oh,
I want it down in public record
sellout
right now
bitch.
that I've always been on your side, baby. But all my bullshit aside, maybe one of the few things that I can come up with is inroads into science and perceptions that aren't stigmatized by dogma or the lack thereof. They're not going to be afraid to look at things because it's going to make you look like a shitheel or a clown or any of the other things that scare scientists away. They'll just look at the facts as they stand and put it all together and be like, oh, well, what about this? And then maybe other human scientists can go like, well, shit, there's something here. And maybe string theory will eventually prove fucking Ouija boards work. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
then
I
Mattel's
think
gonna
that
be
falls
pissed.
more under the domain of quantum computing if they're going to find it scientifically. Because
interesting.
the more I read about it, I'm like, that scares me actually more than like what AI.
Like spooky
Quantum
interaction at
computing?
distance
yeah,
type shit.
yeah, the way they explain it, I'm just like, you can't. the way they explain it, like there's this choice or this choice, but like no, it's like
all choices all the time.
It's always in the state of it could be.
It's always in a state of maybe. Therefore, it's always positive and always negative. Yeah.
Oh man, that's
like
how
your brain explodes.
Well, that's
when you
why
start
Einstein
fucking watching
hated it. Einstein, who fucking basically set the precedent for it, loathed fucking spooky interaction at a distance, what he called it. He loathed the idea of quantum mechanics being accurate because he said God doesn't play dice. But just because his dogmatic view of the world, which was established in the 1800s, couldn't afford it, doesn't mean it wasn't true. And the people that came after him took it and ran with it. And it doesn't matter if we can understand it because not a fucking one of us can, at least sitting at this table.
It's hard.
It bears out in the math.
It's hard.
It bears out in the math, and we reap the rewards from it.
And all I can do is be like, Heller space.
I mean, it is scary, but it's dope. That's why that's one of those things. I'm like, I had a weird thing about tornadoes, and they're just terrifying. But I would dream about them constantly, just because I'm fascinated.
Sure,
really, I didn't know that.
Yeah, not anymore. Like for years though, in the past.
No
I'm
shit,
just
that's interesting.
Well, they're just. I mean, imagine if I can just see the tornado. If anyone saw one, we shit, die, never come back.
Right.
In any kind of zombie.
That's true. We live in upstate New York. We don't live with
we
tornadoes
just don't
at
get
all.
them. People see them all the time. Like, oh yeah, tornadoes. But I just, they're just. I don't know. They're cool.
They're
it's
nightmares.
like werewolves. I'm obsessed, terrified, love them, hate them. It's the same.
Kind of want to be one.
Yeah, it's the same. Right. It's all of those things in one.
I dig it.
Oh man,
it's the same. It's the same thing with quantum computing. I'm like, I love it. I hate it.
Moral of the story is all paranormal will be explained by science. We might not live to see it.
Yeah,
but if science is
I
allowed
wanna
to
see it,
continue.
yeah.
And it might just be science for pure science sake, or AI doing science without the fucking stigmas of human consciousness that will get to those revelatory truths and help us get to this next level where
next level.
Either people are half transhumanist, half people are half living in their soul world, and whatever the fuck's going on. It'll probably be an impossible to fathom world where this shit will be seen, where we can start treating fucking demons like viruses, hard to treat. Neither living nor dead, difficult to find without the most technical equipment to look deep enough. And yet there it is. It's another consciousness that wants to fuck with you, and it's from another place, and it is parasitic and troublesome, and we'll get rid of it. And ancient people called it demons, but they didn't get it, and leeches never helped.
There it is, listener stories. Listener stories, part 21. Rob, wrap that fucker up.
Deep dive, baby.
That was great. That was an excellent fucking ending. I like how Chris went into quantum computing, and then Rob said, leeches ain't doing shit, motherfucker. Goddamn.
I mean, shit.
Evil Science and Magic Buddies listener stories, part 21. Thank you all so very much. Thank you for everyone that sends their stories, and we appreciate
Always.
that. We are probably going to be doing these the rest of the month, just because it's fucking spooky, creepy time.
Yeah.
Fucking head
we need time
of,
off. Rob needs time. We all need
need time off. Yes. Head full of demons, fucking shoes full of ghosts, whatever you got to do.
But don't worry, I have plenty of
shoes full of ghosts.
Shoes full of ghosts.
Pumpkin shoes
I think
ahoy.
the ghosts were in the cars.
Now they're in their shoes. Demons are in your head, ghosts in your shoes, goblin milk in the fridge.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
hey,
chilled.
check the expiration date.
It's chilled.
Is that also known as eggnog? Because I fucking love eggnog. I'm not gonna fuck around,
dude. I don't. People shit on it.
You either love it or you don't.
You can
but
hate
I do.
it, but you're wrong.
Yeah, your mouth hates you.
It's fine. It's fine. We're going to
You're
agree
not,
to
You're not getting
disagree.
raptured into the new dimension.
I don't
Sorry
want.
about
If
that.
it involves eggnog, fuck you. Keep it. I'll stay here and die.
I guess the
Yeah.
future's
Fine.
not for you, Mark.
You guys enjoy your fucking shit eggnog. I'll be here.
The golden
Nod free.
tomorrow awaits your sip. All right.
All right. Well, when you guys, whatever.
Dill.
It's gonna fucking
Right.
get you.
Enjoy your dirt nog. We're gonna get sweet eggnog, and you're gonna get fucking maggot
man.
nog.
Oh God. Jesus Christ, maggot nog.
Yeah,
Oh,
enjoy
God.
Halloween from now on. You get maggot nog.
That's fucking
Charcoal biscuits.
Kind of intriguing, but awful.
Yeah,
It's just bad.
Oh,
High in
Robert.
protein, always horrible.
Patreon, Robert. We got some
Oh,
shout
here we
outs
are.
to do, good sir. For the good
There's
folks
quite
to
a few
support
here.
us over there at patreon.com/Kryptonaut Podcast. We do have quite a few. We are playing catch up because we had a bunch of new people sign up, which is fucking awesome. But then we had some time off and some things happened, and then I was shortening the list a little bit, and now I'm like, God damn shit, we're like overloaded. So
Yeah,
we're
we
just
gotta
gonna
catch up. We're
gonna
doing it,
catch
though.
up. So Robert, let's get started. We're gonna fucking bang through these things. We're gonna fucking thank these people.
Hell yeah, we
with all
are.
of our hearts and souls.
Every bit.
There you go.
Loins to nipples.
That's it. For tits to taints. Let's do it.
Gonzo fluffy buns.
Thank you, Gonzo Fluffy Buns. Love it, the fucking name.
Adam Quezada.
Thank you, Adam.
Might be Quezada.
That's probably Quezada.
Probably
Quezada?
Quezada.
That'd be my
I think it's
guess.
Quezada.
All right, Adam Quezada. If we got it wrong, you know the protocols. Benjamin.
Thank you, Benjamin.
Oh, you fucked that one up.
Yeah, I did too.
Benjamin.
Benjamin. Yes.
Nice.
Nikolai Kumanov.
Thank you, Nikolai.
Just Jags.
Hell yeah, just Jags.
Jags.
James Rostenpour.
Thank you, James.
Dustin Devine.
Thank you, Dustin.
Johnny Kahn.
Johnny,
Oh my
what up?
God.
Amber Com.
Thank you, Amber.
Christina Gomez.
Thank you, Christina.
Charlene Chambers.
Oh, Charlene. I love that name. Charlene.
It's very pretty.
I love it.
Seductive
I
almost.
love Charlene.
Ooh.
Ah.
All right, settle down.
You're also going to love.
It's kind of like
other-
Jolene, but it's Charlene.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Really?
I like Dolly Parton.
Okay. I'm not. Who doesn't?
Yeah.
I mean, Islands in the fucking stream.
She gives she gives children books.
Books. Yes. No.
You're
she-
You're going to say she gives children the books.
yeah, she gives books to children.
Books
you
need
fucks.
children too.
Don't you fucking talk about Dolly when I'm out.
Oh my God. I'm just saying Charlene and Jolene are like not exactly.
You should run for
synonyms.
office. The way you gaslight is really something else.
I just turned it around. Like, you're the problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you,
Not
no,
me.
you did it. What are you talking about?
How
You
dare
hate
you?
it when books read kids.
How dare you? You're pro kid book. How dare you?
Jonathan Popcock.
Thank you, Jonathan Popcock. Thank you.
No, it's
Oh no, it's Pocock.
It's Pocock.
Pocock, yeah.
See, you got me so flustered. It's Jonathan Popcock. Jonathan, I highly recommend you change your name immediately.
Your fucking screen name, Robbie Popcock.
Because I fucked it up, but I think it's great. But I also respect Pocock.
Oh, Pocock.
Jonathan Pocock.
Jonathan Pocock. Thank you.
Nikolai Gall.
Thank you, Nikolai.
Maria Jane Leahy.
Oh, thank you, Maria.
Or is it Leahy?
Could be Leahy.
Leahy.
Yeah, Maria Jane Leahy.
Sexy Jeff.
Oh, what's up, sexy little fucking
Jeff spelled GEF.
Mm-hmm.
sexy little marmot.
Like the mongoose. Yeah.
Little marmot. Little sexy marmot.
You talking dirty in the walls?
Yeah.
Say what you're doing? Eighth dimension bitch.
Beat a dick in the walls.
Wow.
Get roasted from the walls.
Mike Giger.
Thank you, Mike.
Ravishnu S.
Thank you, Vishnu.
Dreamer. Simply
Oh, just
Dreamer.
the superhero?
I guess.
Dreamer. Okay, yeah, Dreamer. Gotcha. I lost my place here.
Anthony Campos.
Thank you, Anthony.
Quilts by Pam.
Quotes by
Oh,
Pam.
shit,
I wonder if
quilts.
that's our friend Pam, like local Pam. Remember the woman?
Oh,
that we met, Pam?
that we met at the con.
I wonder if that's her.
Oh, that'd be awesome
She
if
makes
it was.
quilts?
Pam, if it is, hit us up. We got to have her stop by the studio.
Hell yeah.
She lives like fucking town, like 10 minutes on the road.
Oh shit.
Really?
Pam, if you're listening, fucking hit us up. Have you stop over,
Dude,
Fucking
bring some
ain't crazy.
quilts.
dude. Her shit's dope too. What we saw, the
Oh,
stuff
I
that
loved
she made
it.
was fucking
She
killer.
was dope as hell.
Yeah, she's the best.
Right on. And if you're not, you're still awesome.
Yeah, you're still dope.
If you're a different quilt, that would be weird. There's like 3 different quilts by Pam.
Could be. You never know.
Pam never stops.
Doesn't
quilting.
matter. Sounds like quilts.
I love it. I'm here for it. I'm living for it.
Jennifer Tuckness.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Athena Bouvier.
Thank you, Athena.
Jens Johns.
Thank you, Jens.
Jen's John.
We appreciate
Jens John. My bad. Jens John.
Jen's John. We appreciate all
Great
the
name.
support over
Could be
there again.
Jens.
Kryptonaut Podcast or Patreon.com/Kryptonaut Podcast. Check that out. The $1 to $5 tier gets you access to the Discord. You can go in there and check that out. We had a campfire this last weekend. It was super cool. A bunch of really cool stories on there. There's actually this girl shared a story about like being like a cave guide and coming across this whole spirit thing in the cave. It was fucking super awesome. It's like,
Cave guides.
yeah, it was the coolest sounding job. But I'm like, you gotta be in a cave for like 3 fucking hours. But it's kind of dope.
What's a long cave?
It's kind of cool, but
What cave?
yeah, she had a
Do you
cool
know?
little. She didn't want to give the location. of it, so,
Oh.
but she had a really cool experience on there. It was super creepy. So if you're a part of the Patreon, you can sign up for the Discord. You can get them all connected together. And don't forget, if you are on the Patreon, you can now listen to all of our bonus audios on Spotify.
Fuck yeah. So easy.
Dude, it's the way. And
It's been a game changer for us, honestly.
we
This-
got a huge bump, and it's still happening, and we appreciate it.
again.
Like,
We
it's-
appreciate all the support. It's crazy how much support that we get from you good listeners out there on the Patreon. It means a lot to us. I mean, obviously everyone's showing up weekly, listening to the show, leaving comments, and sending messages and
for
shit.
sure.
But I mean, just the people that are like, yeah, I want to hear more of these 3 assholes. And they fucking pay for it, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's
and they love
amazing.
it, and we love that you support us like that. It's huge. It's how Rob and Chris live. It's how we have a studio.
We talk
it's
about this
awesome.
like every fucking week, just how lucky we are,
Oh,
how
100%.
awesome you guys are, all of our supporters. I mean, it's something that never gets old for us and never gets dismissed, never gets fucking
No, not at all.
marginalized. It's
No,
like We
No
look
way.
around the studio and we're like, holy shit, we can do this because people support us. That's unfucking believable.
Yeah.
So thank you.
It's crazy. It is. Thank you all for your support. We got the Instas and the Twitters and the Facebooks around the medias. We're being social on the socials, being the medias. We have merch available at
We do.
hellospace.com or kryptonautmerch.com. You can 2 different stores there. We're in a weird weather situation right now because it's kind of summer again.
Yeah. It's
But,
hot
you know,
again.
whatever. The fall's coming up. So
Yeah.
we got hoodies and sweatshirts and long sleeves. And
This is a first. This season is like not. It's fall, but it's like when that sun is out.
oh, yeah, it's hot.
I am still cold, except I'm sweating to death at the same time.
No, same,
Because we're so much
same.
closer to the sun.
Right.
yeah.
I feel like fall's not usually this, but climate. So now
Well, we had
Yeah.
mad like cool weather at the end of August.
Yep.
Then we had a hot streak in the beginning of September. Then it got proper autumn again, and now it's fucking for my fat ass. It's fucking unbearable. Like I can't stand this shit at all.
The heat?
I loathe it. I want it cool and crisp. And
yeah,
I want permanent autumn.
There's
Yeah.
there's no humidity though. It's like when the sun is out, it's just hot beating on you.
Yeah,
but I don't
it
feel like
is.
it's humid outside.
It's not
Like you can go out in 70, it's super comfortable, but then when the sun hits you, you're like,
It is a little.
but you feel the summer and the fall at the same time.
Yeah.
In my mind, it doesn't know what to do, and I'm shattered.
Yeah.
Like my
Shattered.
dimensions are fucked up.
Shattered.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, no, it's my it wreaks hell on my sinuses. I don't
Yeah.
normally have sinus issues, but when it gets so cold and so hot, it
Guys, I can fix it for you. Eat the flesh. Pledge to the Dark Lords.
Oh, there you go.
Find the anti-god that fucking will make you feel right.
Okay, cool. The
Anti-god.
Go
anti-god.
full in.
Yeah, the anti-life equation.
There's like 1,100 anti-gods too. Don't like call, you meet the first one, they'll always tell you they're the only one.
okay, I'm
don't,
down.
Don't buy it.
You
All
mean
right, we
anti-God
won't.
mean anyone that's
Anyone
not
that's
Yahweh.
not the Judeo-Christian.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Sweet.
Super
Any
God.
non-Yahweh deity.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's fucking find our anti-gods.
Yeah, I mean, there's one hanging
Together.
out at 7-Eleven. There's
Perfect.
fucking just ones that actually have power. You want to be a little picky, a little
Awesome.
choosy. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I'm excited. There you have it. Thank you all so very much. We'll be talking to you soon.
Laters.
Sweaters and the anti-god. It's the only way to stay comfortable. It really is.
I mean, yeah, in the fall, find your anti-God.
Find it.
God of leaves, God of crushed leaves.
I found the god of headbands, and he's working out like gangbusters.
really-
You found that you've been a fan of that God for a long time.
No, I've worshipped him in the only way you can, sweating into a headband.
Yeah, and then just leaving it on the table to seep into this new fucking table.
First off, I put it around the microphone.
You've upset
stand.
Chris. You've upset Chris.
Oh, find your own anti-god.
Look at how mad I am. I'm quitting.
We'll be talking to you.
Oh.
Bye.
Chagrin.